Sure, okay.
Still sounds good.
All right, little thing. Good.
All right, so the song, it starts off with an augmented chord. Okay, that chord didn't exist until the major scale, the minor scale, natural minor scale was tweaked into the harmonic minor scale. Then you could build this chord out of a scale. It's like an F shape, except you bring it up.
Okay.
And it's like a C chord too.
Like a C chord, but just that, the difference on the, on the G.
But this is functioning actually more like an E chord. It's bringing us into the A.
Okay.
Because it's got two notes of E major, by the way.
Right. Right.
All right. Now I'm borrowing with the middle. Okay. So anyway, this is right here. This one chord already kind of suggests the blues. Why? Because if we have A minor pentatonic, get that C natural note where the key of A major is a C sharp natural.
Okay.
All right. So again, we're pitting the C against the A to get that blues sound. All right. So we got a one chord to E, 5, F sharp minor. D7. That's the 4 chord. A, B, C, 1, 2, 3, 4. A, B, C, D. And we made it 7th. Again, a little marker saying the blues. This song is out and out bluesy without following a 12-bar blues progression.
Right.
That's totally possible to do. All right? You can get a blues effect just by using
certain chords, actually. Just literally certain chords.
Just certain chords, you turn it to 7ths and blues happens.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, that brings up that other thing that, you know, you place a huge amount of importance on the blues, but so many people, I think, do just think of that as the 12-bar, the 12-bar structure.
Yeah, right. In other words, they think of it literally as a 12-bar progression with slight tweaks, you know, here and there.
Well, the interesting thing to me is that more and more, if you do some listening and actually pay attention to it like you do, you see the blues has a phenomenal amount of different rhythms, different stresses on certain notes, certain beats, whatever, that are not just 12-bar blues at all.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. The blues. You could blues up a ballad just by, you know, sticking in little minor pentatonic notes into a ballad. You know, where normally it would sound really, really straight, like very Euro. But yeah, it's possible to do.
I think maybe the calling would be a whole album of children's lullabies done in blues fashion.
Yeah, well, there you go.
They might sleep weirdly.
Lulla blues. Well, yeah, because the blues encapsulates, you know, the blues chord itself encapsulates the 3 types of chords, major, minor, and 7th, all rolled into one chord. Yeah. Right there, you know. So if you think of it in terms of mood, it's happy, sad, and unstable. I mean, those are the 3 moods of those 3 chords, you know. So, yeah, the kid's going to sleep not really well. But, you know, blues has this incredible healing effect. I was at a student last night who is going through some difficulty right now, and you know, he talked to me, and he was depressed and stuff like this, and I understood because I go through this similar stuff, you know. So he talked for a good 20 minutes about it, and then I said, well, you know what, let's kind of knock some of this stuff out of you. Let's have it do some blues. Let's just play some blues, you know. And by the end of the lesson, he was literally smiling, you know, saying, you know, that really did me some good, you know, it really did me some good, you know. The blues is a wonderful transformative tool for the musician himself, if not for the audience, you know. It really does, you know, Larry Carlton was strong on that. And he one thing he said was, you know, if you're going to do a show or something like that, start off with a blues because it's just a great way to unwind, and it really is. It just, you don't have to play great, all you have to do is play your feeling, and that's the beauty of it, you know.
In this song, when all of a sudden he vocally decides to go bat crap, there's a certain release about that.
Yeah.
You know, that further sort of heightens the tune, really.
Yeah, in fact, speaking of release, this is a different subject about release in the song, but we go to that, all right, so I'll never make it alone. And then all of a sudden it releases there, so it becomes softer and easier there.
Yeah, it does.
And that's because why is because we're going to European harmony, which is based on, there's no tension comparatively. When you compare a European harmony to blues harmony, there's a lot less tension in European harmony.
Wow.
Now, you could see this functioning in a song like Stormy Monday Blues,
Okay.
right? Call it Stormy Monday. We got a 4 dominant 7.
Tuesday's just twice as sad.
And then they go up this little fancy half step, which I like. That's a tritone substitute.
Okay.
Call it Stormy Monday. Now Tuesday is just as bad. Now here comes the European harmony. Here, that eases the whole thing up suddenly.
Sure.
It's like, and then we've got a blues chord there, and then we're back into European. So, again, very similar. What happens here in Stormy Monday is going up the chord family template, which there is no chord family template in the blues. You know, there's 1, 4, and 5, dominant 7.
Right.
That's as close as you could come to a template for the blues. But this, you're doing the normal European harmony, the standard way that it was laid out by Pythagoras,
So it kind of alternates between this sort of blues, dissonant, aggressive, whatever, and then this relaxed,
Easing up.
easier on the ear, perhaps, that sort of thing.
Well, when you think about harmony, the art of harmony is the art of tension and release.
Right.
That's all it is. You're creating up some tension and then you relax it. It gives you this feeling. And that's part of the beauty of the whole thing. It's like life itself, Life sucks, but then you get this great moment,
Yeah.
Generally, mine just sucks, but, whatever. And I can laugh about it at least,
That's negative, Vinny.
Everybody knows.
And then he releases with a laugh.
Right, exactly. Tension release. So, you have tension release. Now, when you conglomerate within one piece of music, blues and European harmony, it's similar to the old-fashioned European thing. When Europeans were trying to create tension, they'd put a 7th chord in,
Okay.
But they put it in the proper placement. Now, to us, our ear, that sounds very conventional.
Right.
But, to the old school ear, there was tension there with that dominant 7th there, dominant 7th there, and then finally,
Okay.
relax.
And then, what would an American blues player do to that progression?
What did I
Might
say?
do to that progression.
Or I substituted the B7 for its tritone substitution F7,
Okay.
and I created dominant chords out of the 1 and 4.
Okay.
So, yeah. So the difference, as opposed to,
Yeah.
all right.
The American way is better.
The American way
As
is
it always
super,
is.
uber cool. And it definitely relates to postmodernism so well because we do live in tense kind of, that blues chord, the dominant 7th sharp 9 chord, that really does kind of encapsulate the way the world feels.
Yeah.
It feels like, it's not resolved. It's like there's a lot of tension in there and there's a lot of color at the same time, you know? In other words, like this chord is giving you a lot of information.
Well, and it's also, the odd thing is, it's not displeasing to the ear, really.
Right. It's not. It's harmonious in its odd way. It's harmonious. Yeah. So again, like what I wanted to say with my comment about the Beatles and this, like again, you go to old school European, it's tension release. Now, when European went over the top, in the late 1900s. I think the late 1800s. They started getting really experimental. Since everything, like anything, went at one point, anything goes at one point. So Stravinsky, what he would do, he said he thought to himself, music is the art of tension and release. But now it's not just up to a chord anymore, because we've expanded to a complete atonality. So what he would do is he'd take an entire section of music, 16 bars that was sonorous and easy and harmonious, and then do another 16 that was tense, and so that's how he created the tension and release.
Is that very obvious with him, with Stravinsky?
I don't know. I just read that, in one of his books, one of his really pretentious books. But I read that's what he was going for. What was your question again?
Oh, is that, in other words, it was that obvious? You could hit 8 bars of this and then 8 bars of this different.
Yeah, I'd have to give a listen with that kind of ear in mind,
Yeah.
because when I listen to Stravinsky, it's just an experience,
Yeah.
It's like, I don't even think, it's just
Right.
this music is going. It goes beyond my music theory head. Like, I can't predict that
Yeah.
chord or this chord, which I love,
You have a new section called Trainwreck.
So what I was going to say was the way the Beatles did it, tension release, and they didn't even do it consciously, but it's still genius, is that within the context of one piece of music, they would incorporate blues harmony and also incorporate European standard harmony.
Okay.
And this is to be seen in this song. When we get to, "Maybe when I tell you," that's a lullaby right there. "I'll never make it alone." And we go,
Right.
all right, so what's all that stuff too? So we have A, oh darling, please, E, F sharp minor. So we have 1, 5, 6 to 4, but we create dominant 7th there. So there's the one big, you feel the sour right there. It's like, ooh, And then we soften up again. B minor 7 to E7. Now E7 is natural as a 5-7 chord in the key of A. So it doesn't really suggest blues. It suggests European.
Yeah, okay.
And what we have here, this is an old... That's an old device used in the blues, and it's just climbing up the scale. A, B, C sharp, D, D, C sharp, B, A, G sharp, F sharp, E.
Now this isn't technically a turnaround, is it?
Yeah, it is a turnaround.
It is? Okay.
A turnaround is something that brings you back to your verse.
Okay.
Oh,
Oh, that's the simplest, yeah.
That only happens when he's repeating the verse, by the way. He'll go, so we go back,
Okay.
right? But the second verse, we go, all right, and that A7 hails, you know what chord is coming.
Yeah.
You could hear it. It's, right?
Yep.
That A7 is the 5-7 of the D major chord.
Okay.
That is very European. It's not blues. Even though in the one position you're creating a dominant 7, it's still not bluesy because this is a secondary dominant leading to the 4 chord, as we talked about.
Okay.
All right, and I know that sounds all wordy, but
No.
if you go back in the lessons about secondary dominant.